there, this is the RPS project. I'm Richard and today I'm going to be looking at light. But as you may have seen, I've actually finished the light units. That's in another video. If you want to go and see that video, just follow the link. But yeah, I made two of these little boxes, and it's just the LED strips, isn't it? You know, the strips of LED stuck onto a board, a bit of, it's almost like a really heavy tracing paper on the front. Takes 12 volts, you plug it in and gives you a load of light. And since I've made them, I've been sort of experimenting with where they're going to go, where I can position them, what gives the best light. I can't really decide exactly where I want to put them, but I've got a bit of an idea. I've got one over there against the wall, and I'm going to might have one. I'm going to put this one sort of back a bit, sort of halfway in the room, so it's set back. And I suppose the idea would be to have them further out, that over there or in the corner, and that one sort of over there. Maybe position it higher up, sort of thing, or wherever seems to give the best light, just so that they basically fill the room with light. And see, that's actually quite reflective. I can see from the camera screen that I'm looking at now, that's doing quite a bit to the light. But the idea is that the light's going to shine through from the LEDs and brighten up the whole room. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, let me just turn this lamp off. At the moment, this is basically the lamp that's in the room, the ceiling light, and the window. That's all the light that's coming in, and so it's fairly natural light from there. And you know, it's not particularly brilliant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these up and turn them on and see what the difference is. And I'm sure, as I'll have to cut, chop, cut, whatever, edit, cut, scene. You'll see between now at the moment, which is the light that I'm normally working with, and the light that I hope to be working with. So I'll get these turned on and set up how I want, and we'll see what the difference is. And there you go. So much more light. If I actually look at my screen there, I can see my face is illuminated a lot better. There's a lot more light shine on me. Obviously there's a certain amount of shadow that I'm creating. I can see there's a certain amount there. So I still have to work on how I can position these lights a bit better so I don't get that. I might still need some more lighting. I've got another little project I was going to do that involved having some like lamp units, but putting like a filter cage thing on them. Very basic thing I make from coat hangers and some material, and just put like some filter stuff over the top. So I just got like a little lamp with this thing on top I can position on the floor. I need to get and do that as well, and that might help a lot more. The other thing about these lights is they are on permanently, and my thought was, well, perhaps I can change that. Perhaps I can make them so that they are dimmable. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers me doing this project. This is my little light unit, 3 LEDs. PWM is basically 555 timers on a little board that I just turn it on, and each LED was individually dimmable, and it just stuck on a shelf over the bench. But I don't use that anymore. I've not got that set up here, so I don't really use this. So my thought was to salvage this, use 2 of these and just rework it so I can then plug the power into that, and then they'll go into the lights, and then I'll have dimmable lights. Brilliant. So let's go and have a look at this and see what I can do with it. So here's my old box. And it seemed to work quite well. It's a bit, I don't know, it did the job for what I wanted to do, to provide a bit of extra light onto the workbench. So I'm sure I can rework this unit for some new purposes. Get the screws out. There's only ever 3 screws, I lost the other one. Right, and inside, there we go. Excuse me. These were the little 555 timers, one for each LED, transistor. Sort of overdid it a bit with the power supply there, just some voltage regulators, but one for each LED and then one for the 3 controllers. But what I can do is take these out and then use another board, make up another board with this into another box, but then I need another box to put this into. Now, as it happens, this is what I've got, and I've measured it up, and this should fit into there. It's some box, 4 screws, and having measured it up, I've worked out that the board can sit here, and it sits off to one side because the way the pot sits. So if I put the pot centre, the board will sit off to one side, and it comes back to about this point here, but it means that I can fit another board, which I happen to have handy, into one of the slots there, and then I can put a voltage regulator, because I need 9 volts for the 555, but I still need 12 volts to come in for the LEDs, and then a transistor. This is a bit of a chunky one. I could use this chunky one. I think it's a tip 120. That's actually the voltage regulator. But no, they could sit there, and the board is going to sit over here, the pot, and then there's enough room just on the side here to put a couple of connectors in. So I need to work out how I'm going to wire this board up. So here we have the remnants of my LED box, the one with the 3 LEDs. One of the controllers, the 555s, I'm nicking 2 of them, part of the power supply. It's just some voltage regulators, and I've nicked the 9 volt one off there. That was the transistors for switching on the LEDs, some heavy resistors, switch on off switch, socket. Yeah, not a lot left really. I've scavenged bits off it, so let's just move that to one side. And I've got a couple of boxes. These boxes aren't quite as good as the one I have got, so I'm going to keep that for something else, and I'm going to use the 2 boxes I've got, new ones for this, because where is it? This is the box I was looking at. It's exactly the same size, same design, same everything, only the older box has got inserts for the screws. So these are basically machine screws, so you can take the lid on and off as many times as you like. It's not going to hurt it. Obviously, to save costs, they've gone with the self-tapping screws. Okay, never mind. Still work. I don't really need to take it. It's not like it's got a battery in there or anything, so I'm not taking it apart time after time. Bunch of bits. Obviously, one of the controllers I'm going to be using. Knob. I've got to make a lead so I can connect from here to the LED lights. So I need 2 sockets, one for the power to come in, and one to take for the lead to connect up to the LED lights. 9 volt regulator, some strip board, because how I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to put this in about there, and then the other piece is going to sit in here about there with the components on this side. A couple of sockets over here, sure it'll work fine, and I'm going to use the ZTX 651. So how am I going to wire this up? I did draw a little diagram, but I've going to have a diagram drawn up. I'm going to put it on the whiteboard and see exactly what I'm doing then. So how am I going to wire this thing up? Well, let's have a quick look. What I've basically got are these blocks. I've got the LED unit, I've got the 555 timer unit, I've got myself a 9-volt regulator, basic linear regulator, and it's just the very basics of setting up basically a switch with an NPN transistor. So my input, 12 volts, is going to go directly to the LEDs, just like they do now, only the lights are turned on permanently, so they're always on, whereas this gives me control over the brightness. I can change that, and the output is going to go through the transistor, very simple, and the transistor is going to be turned on and off with the 555. The voltage regulator is just to give my voltage regulator my 555 9 volts, because it's what I prefer to run it at. It seems to run best at 9 volts, the 555. I think that's meant to be its running voltage, its supply voltage, but I mean you can use other voltages with the 555. I find you can be quite lenient with it, but 9 volts seems to work best, so I'll stick with that. Some capacitors just to help keep it nice and steady, so there isn't any fluctuations, and it all just then connects back down to ground and back off to the power supply. So very simple setup, nothing spectacular or amazing with that. Mind you, what's the 555 circuit? I have looked at that before in a previous video, but I'll quickly draw it up so we can see what the 555 is actually doing. So here we have my 555 set up on the board here, nice and simple. It is a very simple design. I've looked at it before. Basically what we've got is, you know, the standard voltage supply that you'd normally get, but on this side, instead of just having a capacitor and a resistor, what we've done is we've put a pot in there, and what we're doing is we're just changing its duty cycle with these two diodes. Just means that when it switches, as it charges, depending on where this pot is, depends on how quickly it'll charge and discharge, because one path will be shorter than the other. It's quite a simple design, really. I mean, put it together yourself and have a look, see how it works. But it is very simple. But that's what the 555 is. That's what that little thing is. I say I made them ages ago. So that coupled with my main diagram of what I'm going to wire up, that's what I'm going to get. And it should just give me some control over the LEDs. So let's get on and build it. Okay, so now time to get the strip board cut down to fit in here. Then I'm going to populate it with the parts, you know, in there, just probably over to one end or the other, so I've got room to put the sockets in. So, you know, so there's enough room, they're not going to interfere with each other. Wire it up and see how it goes. I'm going to do this, as it were, off camera, because experience has told me that when you start doing these things, they usually end up taking a couple of hours or longer. You know, you think, oh, that'll be quick, half-hour job. No, it never is. It always takes a lot longer than you expect. So what I'll do is I'll get my board cut down, get them populated, wire it all together, so I've got a ready unit to put in the box, and then we'll have a look at it then. So here's to editing features. A finished box, well, wired up, and there you go. Board made, very simple. Power supply aside, the little transistor for switching the negative line of the LED box on and off, and my 555 unit, and it should all fit quite nicely if I've done it right into the box. Of course, I haven't drilled the box yet, so that'll be the next task, to drill the box so I can get and fit this unit there, and these two sockets are going to sit on the side, out the side there. Nice and simple. So that's what I'll have to do now, get and mark up this box and get it all wired in, get it all fixed in so it actually sits in the box properly, and then I can test it. So on with drilling the box. Okay, so here we go. I've now got my case drilled. Got holes for the end. I even put some holes in the lid because there's a bit of heat going to come from this. Not a lot really, but there may be a little bit. So let's get this, the electronics bit as it were, fitted into the case. Let's get it in there. Let's get this pot fixed in first. Washer. Get the nut on. Always a bit fiddly to get started. There we go. Tighten that up. Doesn't need to be too tight, just enough to make sure it's not going to move about at all. Right. That'll do. Yeah. Then I've got to get these two connectors in. A bit more fiddly. Tiny bit tight on the hole, but there you go, it's still gone in. You know what I'm missing? Washer. It's like a chunky washer on these. Definitely needs to have them on. Get that one on. Right, then I just need to screw them on tight, and hopefully this will bring them through slightly and allow that washer to tighten on the back. Get this one to go on, that is. There we go. Right, let's do this side up first. Again, not too tight, just enough to feel it. Tension. Still a bit, feels a bit floppy, that one. What's wrong with this? Is this, don't know, perhaps it's just the way the socket is. Feels a bit flapping in the breeze type thing. This one feels solid and this one doesn't. What's going on here? Just undo that a minute, make sure we're not damaged in any way. Come on at you, brother. Yeah, the casing on this one feels a bit, how are you doing? Well, let's put it in, tighten it up, and when I do the check, hopefully it won't be a problem, but just see how it goes. Get that in there. Turn it up. There we go, that's a bit better, never mind. So, yeah. Okay, let's put the knob on here. Now this is going to turn. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll put it on at about that one. Yeah, it's open. Sort of push on more than anything. about there. These are the ones I've used before, so they should fit on. No? Oh, they do. Just hand on the screw quite far enough. I have now. That goes from there to there. Yeah, that'll be alright. Let's put the lid on. Before I actually screw these on, let's do a test, I think, and make sure that it is going to do what I want it to. So let's get and test it. So here's my two light units, and over here is the box. Pretty basic, not getting in the way, very unobtrusive. So what I need to do is turn these two on, but I mean, I am likely to completely swamp the camera. So what I'll do is I'll just turn them on like this first, and then I'll try and reposition them so you can get the idea of what it's doing. So one of them is going to be on, this one will be on really bright, and this one should be a lot dimmer. There you go. Whoa. Let's separate them out. As you can see, there is a lot more light from this unit than there is from this unit. So what I'm just going to do, just pop that down there if I can, without it falling off everywhere. Sat on my lap basically. And then this one, as you can see, there's not that much light to it. It's quite dim. But if I turn this controller up, it is getting brighter, until we're at maximum intensity, which is really quite bright. Yeah, that's bright, getting blinded. But as you can see, I've got quite a lot of variability with that controller. Absolutely brilliant. It does seem to work exactly as I want. So why do this? Well, sometimes I want light very close to where I am, but I don't want it to be like this, absolutely blinding. But if I can turn that down to somewhere like that, then I can still have that quite close. I still provide enough light, but at the same time it's not swamping it all out, you know. Even though if you point it directly at the camera, it will swamp it all out. So, and I can turn it quite far down, so I've just got a small amount of light coming in, but there's still some light there. And I can turn it up and adjust to whatever I feel I need. And that's really bright. And that's really dull. Which is stark contrast to this one, which is on permanently. Here we go, swamp the camera. As you can see, it's permanently blinding, whereas this one, I now have the control. So what I'll need to do is to make another one of these controllers for the other unit, so I can control that. And also, with it being a PWM control for this, effectively we are, I am, helping the LEDs. They're probably going to last a bit longer than they would here, even though these are rated for 12 volts, because they're on all the time, and these aren't on all the time. These are being switched on and off, so hopefully the life of these LEDs will be much, much longer. Even though I expect this will last a very long time, it will have less life to it because they're on permanently. There you go. Little LED light box controller for these LED units I've made. Brilliant. I think it's gone really well. Try it yourself, have a go. Anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Hold on. Thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, thumbs down. Subscribe, and all comments are welcome. See you next time.